cities can fall apart without ever being conquered. Welcome to another story in the Brief Universal History of Civilizations series. Today, I'll tell you about a world where power rises from ritual rather than empire, and where collapse comes not from invasion, but from meaning losing its grip. This is Mesoamerica, from about 250 to 900 CE, the age of the Maya cities and Teotihuacan. Here, civilization does not spread outward, it concentrates. Cities are not administrative hubs controlling territory, they are cosmic machines. Calendars align heaven and earth. Temples anchor time. Kings rule because the universe still listens. Writing records cycles, not laws. Power rests on keeping the world in balance, not on managing populations. For centuries, this works. Stable climate and local water sources allow sacred centers to thrive. Knowledge becomes precise. Astronomy sharpens. Ritual grows elaborate. The city becomes the world. But this precision has limits. These societies reach extraordinary heights of understanding without building buffers against failure. No animals for transport, no metals, no spare margin when the environment turns hostile. When drought comes, when forests thin, when rituals stop producing results, the problem is not political, it is cosmic. This episode follows how cities built as universes begin to fail, how meaning collapses before walls do, and how a civilization can disappear without its people ever leaving the land. Numbers take shape under his finger as the dust warms in the sun. One mark, then another. The child pauses, looks up, and copies the priest's movement exactly. Across the plaza, stone edges catch shadow at the correct angle. Someone nods. The count is right. The day is held in place. The city feels complete. Its walls define more than space. They define meaning. Everything that matters happens inside this arrangement of temples, courtyards, and aligned streets. Beyond lies forest and uncertainty, but it barely intrudes. The world is here, ordered and knowable, turning in cycles that can be read, counted, and corrected. The child learns early that time is not abstract. It must be maintained. Calendars do not predict events, they stabilize them. Counting keeps seasons from slipping, rains from failing, rulers from losing favor. Architecture fixes the cosmos in stone, so it does not drift. Writing remembers what human attention might lose. Priests watch shadows move across markers with careful patience. They are not measuring land or borders, they are measuring balance. Power here does not expand outward, it concentrates inward. The city functions as a closed universe, sustained by precision rather than force. This world exists because conditions allow it. Climate holds steady. Water appears reliably in cenotes, lakes, and seasonal rivers. No mass migrations press at the edges. No empire demands tribute. Stability encourages inward refinement instead of outward conquest. From a wider view, across Mesoamerica, urban life develops as cosmology rather than administration. Cities operate as ritual engines, not territorial states. Place becomes universe. Authority maintains balance through calendar, ceremony, and sacred architecture, rather than through population control or land management. The child finishes the pattern and smooths the dust. Somewhere, a conch sounds. The city breathes. For now, The universe remains aligned, contained entirely within its walls. The furrows are measured by hand and habit. She places each seed at the exact depth, spacing them by memory, sharpened into instinct. The sun must strike at a certain angle. Water must arrive on a precise day. Too early or too late, and the cycle breaks. There is no slack here. The gardens feed the city only if every step lands correctly. No animals pull the soil, no metal tools speed the work. Everything depends on timing and care, repeated without error. Knowledge replaces muscle. Precision replaces surplus. She knows the calendar as well as the priests do, though she never speaks its numbers aloud. Planting follows the same counts that guide ritual and festival. Astronomy sits inside agriculture, not above it. The system is brilliant and brittle at the same time. This world has limits it cannot cross. Isolation protects it from invasion, but also from tools that might scale effort. There are no draft animals to multiply labor, no metals to harden tools, no transport networks to move surplus far. Production remains local, narrow, finely tuned. When the rains arrive as expected, life flows smoothly. When they do not, there is nothing to absorb the shock. Storage is thin. Trade cannot compensate. Every field matters. Every mistake echoes quickly. From a wider view, Mesoamerican societies reach extraordinary mathematical and astronomical sophistication under severe material constraints. Advanced knowledge coexists with low resilience. Precision replaces redundancy. The system functions beautifully when conditions hold and fails abruptly when they do not. She finishes planting and looks toward the sky, checking the light. The city's survival rests not on expansion or force, but on whether today still aligns with what was counted long ago. Smoke no longer rises where it should. At dawn, the leader walks past the wells and hears only echo. Buckets scrape stone and return empty. Children kick dust where gardens once held moisture. The trees that shaded the paths are gone, cut years ago for fuel and building, never replaced. The city still speaks with confidence. Priests call for offerings, calendars are recited, ritual schedules remain exact. From the center, nothing appears to have changed. From the edges, everything has. Soil cracks underfoot. Each season yields less. Water sinks deeper into the ground, beyond what hands and timing can reach. The leader senses the contradiction without naming it. The land now asks for movement, rest, recovery. The city demands loyalty, labor, defense of the center. Two logics pull in opposite directions. People begin to leave quietly. First a few families, then whole clusters. Others remain, bound by ritual obligation and fear of abandoning the cosmic order. The leader stands between them, knowing that neither choice feels safe. Leaving breaks meaning. Staying breaks bodies. The forests do not return. Rains arrive late or not at all. Fields exhaust themselves. What once felt like balance now feels like refusal to adapt. Precision turns into rigidity. Knowledge becomes habit. From a wider view, between the 6th and 9th centuries, long-term deforestation, soil degradation, and repeated megadroughts push Mesoamerican systems beyond their limits. Ecological stress activates older logics of mobility and adaptation, while city-based cosmology insists on permanence and central defense. The conflict is structural, not moral. This is the breaking point. Precision without buffers meets an environment that no longer cooperates. The city continues to demand offerings because it has no other language. The land responds by withdrawing. The leader looks toward the ceremonial center one last time. The stones still align with the sky. The sky no longer answers.
He checks the markings again.
The count is correct. The day aligns with symbols carved long before his birth. The offerings are prepared exactly as taught. Incense burns. Words follow the proper order. Nothing is missing. The rain does not come. This is not the first failure. It has happened before. Quietly at first, then again and again. Each time, the response has been correction rather than doubt. More precision, longer fasting, additional sacrifice. The calendar has always worked. If the world resists, the fault must be human. But the sky stays empty. People watch from the edges of the plaza, no longer with confidence, but with questions they do not yet dare to speak. Children remember ceremonies that never brought results. Elders whisper that the gods may be distant, or angry, or gone. The priest hears the murmurs and feels their weight settle on him. This is not yet an economic collapse. Food is still found. Sometimes, labor continues. What breaks first is meaning. The city's claim to be the center of the cosmos weakens each time ritual fails to move the world. Authority drains away with the water. The priest recognizes the danger. If the calendar is wrong, then everything is wrong. Time itself loses reliability. The rituals that once stabilized seasons now expose their limits. Precision turns into performance. Correctness becomes repetition without effect. From a wider view, repeated harvest failures sever the link between ritual calendars and environmental reality. The imagined layer that held Mesoamerican cities together begins to unravel. The crisis is existential before it is material. The gods stop listening, or appear to. He lowers his hands as the ceremony ends. The plaza remains silent. For the first time, he senses that the universe may no longer be enclosed by the city at all. Drums carry through the forest as the column advances. The warrior tightens his grip on the spear, feeling the weight of painted wood and sharpened stone. The target is not land, it is legitimacy. Another city has claimed favor, alignment, the right to stand at the center of the world. That cannot be allowed. Victory here means humiliation. A captured banner, a broken stela, a ruler displayed or sacrificed. When the fighting ends, the land will look the same. Fields will still belong to those who work them. What must change is which city the cosmos listens to. Each city fights as if it is the world. Calendars differ by small but decisive measures. Lineages remember different beginnings. Temples fix time in competing ways. No authority exists above them to reconcile these claims. There is no imperial logic to absorb rivals, no system to turn conquest into lasting order. Pressure sharpens everything. Populations have grown while resources narrow. Hills stripped of trees yield less. Wells dry sooner. In this setting, coexistence feels like surrender. Conflict becomes the final language left to defend meaning. The warrior does not think in abstractions. He knows only this. If his city loses, its gods lose. If its gods lose, the calendar fails. Defeat threatens existence itself. War is not about expansion, it is about survival of a world view. From a wider view, Mesoamerican civilization fragments into competing city centers, each defending its own cosmic legitimacy. Demographic pressure and shrinking resources intensify rivalry. Without integrative institutions or super-regional authority, multiplication replaces unification. He pushes through the undergrowth, drums growing louder ahead. Another city waits, just as certain it stands at the center of everything. By nightfall, one of them will be broken. They move quietly before the light reaches the upper stones. A bundle of tools, a wrapped child. No one looks back for long. There is no alarm, no smoke, no sound of pursuit. The city sleeps, unaware that it is being left behind. Paths worn smooth by generations carry them outward, past terraces now choked with weeds, past platforms where ceremonies once fixed time in place. The stones remain perfectly aligned. The plazas are intact. Nothing is broken. That is what makes the leaving heavier. This is not defeat. No rival banners rise behind them. No conqueror claims the temples. The city simply no longer works. Wells fail more often. Rituals no longer promise correction. Fields demand movement, not precision. Survival has shifted elsewhere. The family understands the choice in their bodies before they can name it. Food matters more than meaning. Flexibility matters more than form. Staying would honor the past and risk the future. Leaving feels like betrayal and relief at once. Others are already on the road. Small groups scatter toward rivers, forests, higher ground. They do not abandon language, stories, or memory. They abandon stone. The urban shell empties faster than people disappear. Culture moves. Architecture does not. From a wider view, Mesoamerican cities do not fall through conquest or replacement. They implode. As ecological pressure intensifies, older survival logics of mobility override city-based cosmology. Adaptation beats alignment. Population disperses while monumental centers remain intact. The sun clears the horizon as the family reaches the edge of the old world. Behind them, the city still stands, silent and complete, waiting for rituals that will never return. Ahead lies uncertainty, but also space to move, to adjust, to live. The collapse has no single moment. It has a direction. Away. Smoke curls above a small clearing as dawn lifts the mist from the fields. The elder sits on a low stone, showing younger hands how to break the soil without exhausting it. The method is simple, learned through repetition rather than record. Maize, beans, squash. Each supports the others. Nothing here demands perfection. It asks for patience. No city stands nearby. No temple fixes the horizon. The land opens and closes with seasons, not with ceremony. Stories travel instead of monuments. They are told while working, while resting, while moving between plots. Names of old places survive as references, not destinations. Identity has changed shape. It no longer rests on stone or calendar alignment. It lives in relationships. Kinship tells people where they belong. Memory moves through speech and practice. The elder teaches not dates, but sequences. When to plant, when to move, how to leave land enough time to recover. Life is lighter now and narrower. There is less certainty, but also less demand. No center needs defending. No ruler claims cosmic authority. Mobility replaces attachment. Survival replaces symmetry. This world holds because it fits its conditions. Low-intensity subsistence works where precision agriculture failed. Milpa systems adapt to variation rather than resist it. Local movement absorbs shock. Kinship networks replace institutions. From a wider view, after the collapse of Mesoamerican urban form, culture does not vanish. It decentralizes. Cities, dynasties, and stelae disappear. Language, beliefs, farming knowledge, and social memory endure. What is lost is the claim that the world must have a center. The elder finishes the lesson as clouds gather, promising rain later in the day. He gestures toward the fields, not toward ruins. The children listen. They do not miss the city. Their world no longer needs one. What Mesoamerica teaches is subtle and severe. Civilization can be precise, intelligent, and deeply meaningful, and still fail without ever being conquered. When order depends entirely on alignment rather than flexibility, it cannot survive a world that shifts. What is gained here is understanding. Cities reach extraordinary heights of astronomy, mathematics, and ritual thought. Time is mastered. Space is sacralized. Meaning is lived daily, not imposed. For centuries, the world makes sense because it is counted correctly. What is lost is resilience. Precision replaces redundancy. Centrality replaces mobility. When ecology pushes back, there is no buffer to absorb error. Collapse does not arrive as violence. It arrives as departure. People leave intact cities because survival no longer fits inside them. The final lesson is quiet. Civilization does not always end with ruins. Sometimes ruins remain while civilization moves on. In the next story, we cross to Africa, to the long corridor between Nile and highlands. In Nubia and Ethiopia, power will balance trade, faith, and geography for more than a millennium. Empires will rise beside stronger neighbors and endure not by precision or conquest, but by adaptation across worlds.